Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Asif Ali Sayed from the Department of Business Administration, Aligarh Muslim University, Aligarh. Today we shall be discussing about the module Conflict Resolution and Emotional Intelligence of the paper Skill Development and Social Entrepreneurship. After completing this module, the students will be able to understand the concept and relevance of emotional intelligence and conflict resolution and get familiar with the dimensions of conflict resolution and emotional intelligence for resolving conflicts and the implications for organizational behavior. Introduction. Conflict between co-workers on the production line can be expensive as well as time consuming for companies. The business problem investigated in the study is the ability of supervisors on the production line to resolve conflicts in non-union companies, which consequently may lead to a drop in organizational productivity. For decades, people were only aware of intelligent quotient or IQ, and it was generally used to select people for jobs and other activities. But there are some people who are assumed to be intelligent, are able to interact with other people, unable to work in teams, and are not successful in their personal or professional lives. Similarly, there are many people who are not assumed to be intelligent but can communicate wonderfully with other people, have wonderful skills to handle just any kind of situation, magically mingle with people, and have achieved great heights in their life. Definition of conflict resolution and emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is defined as a form of social intelligence that involves the ability to monitor one's own and others' feelings and emotions, to discriminate among them, and to use this information to guide one's thinking and actions. Then, in 1995, Daniel Goleman mentioned that emotional quotient is much more important than intelligent quotient and is majorly responsible for the success of a person in his or her personal or professional life. Emotional intelligence is the ability of a person to 1. Be self-aware, that is, to recognize their own emotions when experiencing them, 2. Detect emotion in others, and 3. Manage emotional cues and information. Conflict resolution is an important organizational behavioral intervention exercise to be performed for the smooth functioning of the organization. That's because conflict in organizations can reduce productivity and create a difficult work environment, leading to unwanted turnover in staff and reduced morale. Conflict between co-workers on the production line can be expensive as well as time consuming for companies. Effective leadership on the production line involves implementing key leadership skills in conflict resolution that correctly influence employee behavior and outcomes, thereby stimulating creativity, easing tension, and fostering productive outcomes to better achieve the organization's goal. The business problem investigated in the study is the ability and inability of supervisors on the production line to resolve conflict in non-union companies, which consequently may lead to a drop in organizational productivity. Scope of conflict resolution. Conflict resolution strategies vary widely in how openly they address the conflict. Some of the strategies used to resolve intergroup conflict depend quite heavily on the conflict avoidance, keeping the conflict from coming into open at all. The second group of strategies depend instead of conflict diffusion, keeping the conflict in abeyance and cooling the emotions of the parties involved. The third group of strategies depends on conflict containment, that is, allowing some conflict to surface but tightly controlling which issues are discussed and the manner in which they are discussed. The fourth set of strategies depend on conflict confrontation, openly airing all the issues of the conflict and trying to find a mutually satisfactory solution. In general, which strategy is appropriate depends on how critical the conflict is to task accomplishment and how quickly the conflict can be resolved. When conflict is over a trivial issue or needs to be resolved quickly, avoidance and diffusion are more likely to be employed. When the conflict is over an important work issue and does not have to be resolved quickly, then containment and confrontation are more likely to be used. Conflict management techniques involve major resolution and stimulation techniques that allow managers to control conflict levels. Under ideal conditions, a person's intentions should translate into comparable behavior. Conflict resolution techniques: problem solving, face to face meeting of the conflicting parties for the purpose of identifying the problem and resolving it through open discussion. Superordinate goals: creating a shared goal that cannot be attained without the cooperation of each other of the conflicting parties. Expansion of resources: when a conflict is caused by the scarcity of resource, say money, promotion, opportunities, office space, expansion of the resource can be creating a win-win solution. Avoidance: withdrawal from or suppression of conflict. The next is smoothing: playing down differences while emphasizing common interests between the conflicting parties is the smoothing. Compromise: each party to the conflict gives up something of value to them. Authoritative command: management uses its formal authority to resolve the conflict and then communicates its desires to the parties involved. Altering the human variable: using behavioral change techniques such as human relations training to alter attitudes and behaviors that cause conflicts. Altering the structural variables: changing the formal organizational structure and the interaction pattern of the conflicting parties through job redesign, transfers, and creation of coordinating positions, and the like. Conflict stimulation techniques: the first is communication, using unambiguous or threatening messages to increase conflict levels. Second is bringing in outsiders, adding employees to a group whose backgrounds, values, attitudes, or managerial styles differ from those of the present members. Third is restructuring the organization, realigning work group, altering rules and regulations, increasing interdependence, and making similar structural changes to disrupt the status quo. Fourth is appointing a devil's advocate, that this is designating a critic to purposely argue against the major positions held by the group. Scope of emotional intelligence: a study of 523 educators demonstrated that emotional intelligence is an important predictor of work effectivity and job satisfaction. Positive and negative effect at work substantially mediate the relationship between emotional intelligence and job satisfaction, with positive effect exerting a stronger influence. Use of emotions and emotion regulation were significant predictors of effect at work, whereas perceiving others' emotions was uniquely associated with job satisfaction. Positive affective display in service interactions such as smiling and conveying friendliness are positively associated with important customer outcomes such as intention to recommend a store to others and perception of overall service quality. Top performing sales clerks are 12 times more productive than those at the bottom and 85% more productive than an average performer. About one third of this difference is due to technical skills and cognitive ability, while two-thirds is due to emotional competence. Workers with high work pressure and poor time management skills are twice as likely to miss the work. Employees who have strong self-management skills cope better with work pressures. Emotional intelligence competencies earn 139% more than the lower emotional intelligence partners. After supervisors in a manufacturing plant received training in emotional competencies, lost time accidents were reduced to 50%, formal grievances were reduced from an average 15% to 3 per year, and plant exceeded productivity goals by $250,000. Another study revealed that employees' display of positive emotion is indeed positively related to customers' positive affect. Goldman 1997 claimed a leader's emotional intelligence is as important to the achievement of success as the leader's cognitive intelligence quotient. A more recent claim has emotional intelligence caused a 30% improvement in productivity in personnel and team emotional intelligence skills A third claim declared emotional intelligence more important than intelligent quotient in engineering career. Coleman in 2000. Some organizations select non-management personnel as team leaders, and the selection of non-management leaders for technical leadership is common for software development teams. In the team leadership role, non-management leaders might benefit from high levels of emotional intelligence, and if EI is then important to a leader's success as claimed. The emotional intelligence level of non-management leaders may be an important contributor to the promotion of emotional intelligence throughout the organization. In order to add to the body of knowledge concerning the importance of emotional intelligence in non-management leader, a quantitative comparison study measured and compared the emotional intelligence of management leaders with the emotional intelligence of non-management leaders involved with the software development for a selected organization. The recommendations for high emotional intelligence among leaders conflicts with the observation that leaders in the engineering industry focus more on intelligent quotient more than emotional intelligence. Richard Pearce 2006 showed emotional intelligence had a significant effect on job control and work performance. Emotional intelligence conflict resolution. Positive mood and emotion seems to help decision making. People in good mood or those experiencing positive emotions are more likely than others to use heuristic or rule of the thumb to help make good decisions quickly. Positive emotions also enhance problem solving skills so that positive people find better solutions to problems. Organizational behavior continues to debate the role of negative emotions and moods in decision making. A more recent evidence has suggested that people who are depressed and low on emotional intelligence make poorer decisions, as depressed people are slower in processing information and tend to weigh all possible options rather than the most likely ones, as they try to search for the perfect solution when rarely is a solution ever perfect. People with higher emotional intelligence display good moods and tend to be more creative than people in bad mood. They produce more ideas, others think their ideas are original, and they tend to identify more creative options to problems. It seems that people who are experiencing positive moods are creative. Supervisors should actively try to keep their employees happy because doing so creates more good moods. Employees like their leaders to encourage them and provide positive feedback on the job done well, which in turn leads people to be more creative. Performance influenced moods, which then influenced motivation. So, a cycle can exist in which positive mood cause people to be more creative, which leads to positive feedback from those observing their work. This positive feedback then further reinforces their positive mood, which may then make them perform even better, and so on. Effective leaders rely on emotional appeal to help convey their message. In fact, the expression of emotions in speeches is often a critical element making the followers accept or reject the message. Leaders with high emotional intelligence are excited, enthusiastic, and active. They may be more likely to energize their subordinates and convey a sense of efficacy, competence, optimism, and enjoyment. Emotional content is critical for making employees accept the leader's decision and towards conflict resolution. Negative emotions stemming from low emotional intelligence leads to a number of deviant workplace behavior and a probable cause of conflict. Such people often behave in the ways that violate established norms and threaten the organization, its members, or both. More than these deviant behaviors lead to conflict and can be traced to negative emotions. For instance, envy is an emotion that occurs when you resent someone or having something that you don't have but you strongly desire, such as a better work assignment or a higher salary. It can lead to malicious, deviant behaviors and a cause for conflict. An envious employee acts hostilely by backbiting or backstabbing or negatively distorting others' success and possibly distorting his own accomplishments. Evidence suggests that people who feel negative emotions, particularly those who feel angry or hostile in a way, are more likely to have conflicts than those who have higher emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence built up as employee content can transform a workplace culture. This can be a solution to resolving workplace conflict and improving efficiency and relationship among the workforce. Managers can alleviate mood enhancement by using humor and livening the work environment. Giving small token of appreciation can bring high quality relationships and increase social connections among organizational members and bring about more cooperation. This would be a conductive and a conducive environment for conflict resolution if there exists any. Thus, managers can control their colleagues' and employees' emotions and moods by being sensitive to their co-workers and employees' emotion and assessing others' behavior as if it were completely rational. As other consultant aptly put in, you can't divorce emotions from the workplace because you can't divorce emotions from people. Managers who understand the role of emotions and moods will significantly improve their ability to explain and predict their co-workers and employees' behavior and also resolve conflicts amicably. Emotional intelligence affecting knowledge workers' performance. For understanding the phenomena, whether there is a relationship between emotional intelligence of knowledge workers and their work performance, call center employees were studied for their behavioral response. Since they qualify as knowledge workers and their work setting involves an environment where employees have to go through a lot of ups and downs, schedules, and have to deal with a great amount of stress, emotional quotient plays significant role than intelligent quotient. Emotional quotient predicts the behavioral compatibility of a person, and communication skill are also shown strongly correlated to emotional quotient. Strong emotional quotient is an indicator of self-management and social traits in employees. It has been established that emotionally intelligent knowledge workers are capable of maintaining strong communication links with their peers, clients, and customers. They perform better and serve better than weak EQ workers. Strong emotional quotient enhances their ability to manage time, workloads, and work family related complex issues. It also increases self. Strong emotional quotient enhances listening capabilities and abilities to make strong connection with customers to resolve their problems. If knowledge workers selection include EQ assessment in their selection process, chances of getting stable and strong personalities will increase, and that can help in reducing their attrition rates. Moreover, it increases the productivity of knowledge workers and reduces the rate of employee dissatisfaction. In this manner, company involving knowledge workers can maximize return on investment by increasing the performance and decreasing the attrition problems. The concept of emotional intelligence in developing training programs could be incorporated in the HR training activity for existing employees. For this, emotional quotient test can be constructed on the basis of four factors: self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. Based on these, the HR team can create a framework of emotional quotient tests and examine candidates, and accordingly training programs could be developed to enhance the weak areas of employees. Exploring the implementation of EQ assessment has gained momentum in the present times. Let us summarize what we have learned so far. Indeed, organizations today are changing rapidly due to technology, globalization, and cutting edge production, subsequently morphing into new structures and workflow processes. Yet, the core of organizational composition remains in the human resources realm, where needs and wants remain the same as they have always been for meaningful creative work as well as recognition and reward in the workplace. For one factor contributing to company success is its people. The Holy Gita mentions about a balanced human being in the form of sthiti prajna. This is very much close to what Goleman says about emotionally intelligent person. In other words, the competencies of an emotionally intelligent person as enumerated by Goleman model of emotional intelligence are akin to the qualities as described in Holy Gita of a person who can rightly be termed as sthiti prajna. According to the theory of Triguna or the SRT theory, a preponderance of sattvic sattva element in a person predisposes him towards a balance of his thoughts and resultant actions. Such a person rightfully can be termed as an emotionally intelligent or a sthiti prajna person. Thank you.